Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi, Maseches CHULLIN Daf Tesvav. We begin 3 lines from the top of the Amud, relating back to yesterday, where we learned in the Mishnah that one who does shechita on an animal on Shabbos, despite it being a severe transgression, which can lead to misa liabilities, to skila, to being put to death by way of the bezdin. So, despite the severity of the act, after all, the shechita is kosher, and the meat is permissible. However, we had a statement in the name of a Rav who says, although the meat is kosher, but you may not eat it on that actual day. He did the shechita today, Shabbos, you can't eat it today until Motzei Shabbos. If it was Yom Kippur, you have to wait until, right? And the question was, why? What's the basis of this new prohibition? If the shechita is kosher, the meat is permissible. Why can't you eat it on the actual day of Shabbos, the day of the shechita itself? Ela marav ashi. So basically, in the Beis HaMedrash, they related this ban, this Isser, to Rabbi Yehuda. And the question was, which Rabbi Yehuda is it who prohibits the achila, the eating of the meat, on this day, on Shabbos? So we had several attempts at locating, at identifying that specific Rabbi Yehuda who relates to this issue. At this point, we haven't yet discovered the right source. Ela Amar Rav Ashi, says Rav Ashi, I'll show you which Rabbi Yehuda. It's not an issue of muktzah or any other issue that we discussed yesterday. It's a different Rabbi Yehuda who prohibits based on a different reason. Ela Amar Rav Ashi, Rabbi Yehuda de Mevashali. It's the Rabbi Yehuda who discusses a fellow who cooks on Shabbos. This is not we have a Mishnah with 3 opinions regarding one who cooks on Shabbos. It really depends whether he did it b'shoigeg, unintentionally, not realizing that it's Shabbos, etc., or he did it b'mezid, intentionally. And the question also is, who's going to eat it? Is it for him, the person, the violator himself, or is it for other people? So let's see. This is not we have a Mishnah. Mavashal b'Shabbos. If a fellow cooked, meat on Shabbos, which of course is one of the 39 malachos, prohibited forms of work on Shabbos. Mashal b'Shabbos. If he did it b'shoigeg, unintentionally, not realizing today is Shabbos, not realizing that this is a asur, yoichal, he may eat it, even on Shabbos. There's no reason to penalize him. It was done unintentionally. However, b'mezid, if he did it knowingly, lo yoichal. In this case, not him nor anybody else is allowed to consume this food until after Shabbos, so that nobody will have any benefit from a malacha that was done on Shabbos. We don't want people to have anah from Isser. We don't want people to be tempted to do this on Shabbos. So you have to wait until Motzei Shabbos. Not only Motzei Shabbos, but somewhat into Motzei Shabbos. Suppose it takes a half hour to do this cooking. You have to wait another half hour into Motzei Shabbos, leaving yourself enough time that it would actually take to cook this meat. So there's no benefit. There's no upside at all. There's no benefiting from this issue. Whose shita is that? Divrei Rabbi Meir. According to him, b'shoigeg, no issue. Eat it even today. B'mezid, wait until Motzei Shabbos. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, however, according to Rabbi Yehuda, even b'shoigeg, you have to wait until Motzei Shabbos. Yoichal Motzei Shabbos. Him and others, whoever wants to eat, have to wait until Motzei Shabbos, but not on Shabbos itself, because we're not allowed to have any anah from a malacha that was done on Shabbos. The Rashba explains so that people don't trick, don't pretend. They'll do b'mezid and pretend that it was only b'shaygeg. So they made a knas all across the ban. You cooked on Shabbos, don't eat it. So again, b'damya b'shaygeg, yoichal matzoi Shabbos. Wait until after Shabbos. B'mezid, if it was done b'mezid, lo yoichal, oy lamis. So the fellow who actually cooked it, he's penalized permanently. You can never have this meat. Others could, matzoi Shabbos, but he can't. Rabbi Yechon HaSandler Omer, Rabbi Yechon the Sandler, is to make shoes, and you're still Rabbi Yechon, the great Rabbi Yechon. He says we take it a step further. Rabbi Yechon HaSandler Omer, we go up one level all around. B'shoigeg yochel matzoi Shabbos, l'achirim v'loy loy. If b'shoigeg, matzoi Shabbos, it could be eaten, but only to others. He can't eat it forever. We're concerned that if he does it, b'shoigeg, next time we'll do it b'mezid, off limits for you. And in fact, if it was done b'mezid, lo yeyochel. So b'shoigeg yochel matzoi Shabbos, but b'mezid lo yeyochel l'lamis. Lo l'achir. The food cannot be eaten for all time, not to him and not to others. Okay, so Rashi brings that this is not the point that we ban others from eating it is not based on a knas. They didn't do anything wrong. Rashi brings it's really a pasuk. It's a drasha. Kodeshi, Shabbos is kodesh, and we connect it to kachim. You can't eat it. That's only by a case of mezid. So we have three levels here. We have Reb Meir, Reb Yudah, and Reb Yechon HaSandler. Each one sort of picks it up a level. Okay, let's just organize things. So we have Reb Meir who says, b'shoigeg, don't worry about it. It's permissible for all. But mezid, in this case, nobody eats it on Shabbos, only after. Reb Yudah takes it a step up. Even by shoigeg, nobody eats it on Shabbos. But mezid, the cook, can't even eat it forever. According to Rabbi Yechon HaSandler, b'shoigeg, nobody could eat it. And after Shabbos as well, he can't eat it, only others. And if it was b'mezid, off limits to everybody for all time. So clearly, according to Yehuda, if one violates an Isra on Shabbos, like cooking food on Shabbos, even b'shoigeg, it's banned, it's usher. Likewise, in our Mishnah by a behema. Oh, here's a source. If a behema was shechted on Shabbos, which entailed a malacha, it's off limits until Matzah Shabbos. Now, v'nukma b'mezid v'Reb Meir, the question is fine, but why did we have to specifically cite Reb Yehuda? We could have explained that our Mishnah is going like Reb Meir, because usually an anonymous Mishnah follows Reb Meir, and was speaking that it was b'mezid, which according to Reb Meir would make it usher until Matzah Shabbos, but noikma b'mezid Reb Meir. So instead of saying the story was b'shoigeg and it's usher like Reb Yehuda, you can say it was b'mezid and usher like Reb Meir. Because Reb Meir agrees that b'mezid is usher on Shabbos. L'sakadaita can't suggest that we're talking that it's b'mezid and only b'mezid. That's why it's usher the tani Yom Yom Kippurim. Because look back in the Mishnah, which cites two scenarios. He did shchita on Shabbos and or Yom Kippur. So we compared the two stories. Ma b'Yom Kippurim loishna b'shoigeg loishna b'mezid lo yachal. Just like in Yom Kippur, you can't eat this particular material today. It's Yom Kippur. Whether it was shechted, shoigeg, or mezid, it's irrelevant. So we're assuming likewise in the case that he shechted on Shabbos, it's a similar type of circumstance that it's usher today, whether it was a shchita b'shoigeg or b'mezid. And that can only work with like Rabbi Yehuda, who says that even by shoigeg it's usher today. Af ha'chanami here as well by shchita on Shabbos as well. Loishna b'shoigeg, loishna b'mezid, whether they did it b'shoigeg or b'mezid, lo yachal, you can't eat it today. So that's what Rav learns the Mishnah. That although the Mishnah seems to permit the meat of a shchitas Shabbos and or Yom Kippur, but they're comparable. Just like the one on Yom Kippur. Still, you can't eat it today. It's Yom Kippur. Nobody eats on Yom Kippur. Likewise, the one that was done on Shabbos, you can't eat today. And apparently we're going like Rabbi Yehuda, who says that even if it was a shechita b'shoigeg, there's a knas, you can't eat it today. Ask the Gemara. Hold it. Mishnah's b'shoigeg. How can you establish the Mishnah as shoigeg? For Rabbi Yehuda, it's going like him, who says that, look at the wording of the Mishnah. Mishnah says if he shechted on Shabbos or Yom Kippur, although he is in severe violation and is liable to Misa, hold it, Misa, it's only by Mesa, not by Shegeg. Shegeg doesn't know Misa. Mishnah says even though he's liable to death, the Mishnah is like this. This very act theoretically can entail a death liability. That's how severe it is. It's just highlighting the severity, but in this particular circumstance, of course, we're talking about B'Shegeg. And there's no Misa. The Mishnah means like this. Although, had he done this very act, it would have brought about death penalty. In this case, we're actually did a b'shegeg. Right? So again, despite the severe act, the shechita is kosher. But nevertheless, you don't eat it today because we don't want him having any hana from a malach on Shabbos. Ask the Gemara. Okay, so it's going like Rabbi Yehuda. What about Rabbi Yochanan HaSandler? Why couldn't it go like that opinion? Who also bans, who also prohibits consumption of this meat today. The Amar who says, Loishna b'shegeg, Loishna b'meiz, Loyachel. According to him as well. If the malacha took place, b'shegeg or b'meiz, you don't eat it. So why couldn't the Mishnah follow that sheet? Says the Gemara. Rabbi Yochanan HaSandler kamaflik Motzei Shabbos. It can't go like him because according to Rabbi Yochanan HaSandler, let's fast forward to Motzei Shabbos. According to him, even after Shabbos, only others can consume it, not the actual violator. Lachirim, to others it's permissible, but not to the actual violator. But that's inconsistent with our Mishnah. Because Tana Dedan, our Tana, states it as a blanket fact. Shechitas Ksherak says it's okay. Without distinguishing, without differentiating between the person and others. Lo Yishna Loi, doesn't matter whether it's him eating it, but Lo Yishna Lachirim for others. They're both in the same boat. That only works according to Rabbi Yehuda, who says, look, on Shabbos it's off limits to all, and on Motzei Shabbos, it's mutter to all. Okay, so bottom line is, we've just discovered, we've identified the Rabbi Yehuda, who's the author of this, so to speak, of this opinion, who the one holds of the Shita that was espoused by Rav, that a Shechita on Shabbos is, although it's technically kosher, but cannot be consumed today. And that's like Rabbi Yehuda, who says that even by Shoigeg, you have to wait until Motzei Shabbos. Which, of course, as we explained, is more machmer, he's more strict than Rav Meir, who holds that if there was a malacha b'shoigeg on Shabbos, you can eat it, no problem, even on Shabbos. Now what happened? Tani Tana, there was a chacham, who was an expert in Braisais and Mishnayos. He recited Kamei de Rav in front of Rav the following Braisa. Hamavasha b'Shabbos b'shoigeg yoichal. B'meiz lo yoichal. If one cooks on Shabbos, it can be eaten. If it was b'shoigeg, b'meiz it. If it was done b'meiz it, lo yoichal, it can't be eaten. That was the way the Tana presented. And Rav responded by hushing him up. Shh. Umeshatikle Rav. Don't promote this halacha. Why? Well, my time Umeshatikle. Why did Rav hush him up? What was wrong? Is it because the Tana was presenting an opposing view, presenting a more lenient view in line with Rav Meir, who allows consumption of material that was processed on Shabbos b'shoigeg, whereas Rav was going like Rabbi Yehuda, who was more machmer. Rabbi Yehuda is because Rav held like Rabbi Yehuda that even b'shoigeg you can't eat it today. V'tana, but the Chacham Tanik Rav Meir presented Rav Meir sheet that you could eat it today if it was done b'shoigeg. Is that why he shushed him up? Says the Gemara, that wouldn't be a good enough reason. Why would he silence him? Just because he's presenting a different view? It's a legitimate view. Just because Rab personally held like Rabbi Yehuda, anybody who follows Rabbi Meir and presents Rabbi Meir's opinion mishatically, he would silence him. There's nothing wrong with the Brayos. It's an opposing shita. Void furthermore. Does Rav himself really hold like Rabbi Yehuda? Void misavar like Rabbi Yehuda? V'amar Rav Chanan bar Ami, he taught us, Ki moirelu Rav l'talmidim, when Rav would instruct his talmidim. So it was sort of an internal discussion without outsiders who perhaps are unlearned and don't have an appreciation, and might get the impression that you can be lenient when it comes to these things. So when Rab would teach his own talmidim, guess what? Moirei lehuk Rabbi Meir. He would teach them Rabbi Meir's opinion. That if one cooks b'shoigeg on Shabbos, it's perfectly fine. V'chidorish b'pirkek Rabbi Yehuda. Dorish Rabbi Yehuda, when he would actually teach in public, he'd present a more strict view of Rabbi Yehuda, so that people are more careful. Mishmami Urs, because of the Ama'urs that were there, there was a concern if he's going to present a more lenient approach to the unlearned people, they'll belittle the halachas of Shabbos, they'll disregard, they won't take halachas Shabbos seriously. So clearly Rab himself personally held like Rabbi Meir. So here that the Tana presented Rabbi Meir's shita, why would he silence him? Because perhaps we'll say it was in public. Tana Pirkei Tana Kamei, the Tana who presented Rabbi Meir's opinion, well, it was in public, Pirkei out in the public during the lecture. And Rav, due to his concern that the unlearned will listen up, will get the wrong impression, that's why he opposed it and he silenced him. Well, what's the issue? Why would they listen to the Chacham rather than to Rav, who's the teacher, who's the lecturer? You think the people that are coming to listen to the drasha, to the shir from the Chacham, are listening to the person on the side who's presenting facts? They're listening to the Amayra. That's the announcer, the one who would loudly announce Rav's lecture. I mean, that was the attraction, right? They came to hear Rav. So what's the issue with the Chacham on the side talking other things? Amar Rav Nachman Yitzchak, I'll explain to you why Rav opposed the Tana. Actually, he was presenting a totally different version of the halacha. Rather than speaking about a fellow who cooked on Shabbos, he related about a fellow who did shechita on Shabbos. Tana, the Chacham, sheched Tana kamei de Rav. He presented Rav with a halacha regarding a person who shechita on Shabbos as follows: Hashoichet b'Shabbos, rather than cooking. We're talking about an animal that was shechted on Shabbos. B'Shoigeg yoichal, b'Meizid lo yoichal. If it was done b'Shoigeg, okay, you can eat it today, b'Meizid not. Amar le'ser Rav, when he silenced him, he explained to him what the issue was. My daitich, what are you thinking? Rav Meir. Apparently, you're going like Rav Meir. In your mind, that's Rav Meir's shita. B'Shoigeg, you can eat the shechted animal on Shabbos, and b'Meizid not. No. For Rav Meir, if you look at Rav Meir's case, he was talking about a fellow who cooked. He cooked meat. Now, meat, technically, you can eat it raw. It's not very tasty, but you could eat it raw. So it's edible. Has a status of food. It's not muktzah, but an animal is muktzah. You can eat an animal, right? So when you shecht it, it's muktzah. Ad kan like a shari of Meir. Yeah, Rav Meir over there in the Brayos allows food that was cooked b'shogeg on Shabbos, hel b'mavashal, only by a fellow who cooked. The roy lochos, where the meat material that was cooked was somewhat edible. You could potentially chew it raw. You could eat it raw. Lochos means to chew something, and consume it in an abnormal way. So it's not muktzah. So that issue's off the table. Only, what's the issue? That it was cooked on Shabbos, a malacha. No, it was b'shoigig, that's okay. Aval shoichet, but in your case, where he shechted on Shabbos, there's another factor at play. Moktzah. Dein roi lachos, the basar, live animal, was not able to be eaten raw. Live animal, Eber Menachai. Lois, in this case, Rab Meir wouldn't allow you to eat it on Shabbos. It was set aside, it was muktzah, because of the Isra involved. So you don't go to Rab Meir, you can't eat meat that was shechted on Shabbos. And that's why Rav silenced him. It's an incorrect depiction of Rav's opinion. Ask the Gemara, hold it. Let's go back to our Mishnah back on Daf Yudalit. A fellow shechted on Shabbos. And Rav himself tells us, you know what? According to Rabbi Yehuda, you can't eat it on Shabbos. But according to Rabbi Meir, the Gemara implied, according to Rabbi Meir, it's okay, hold it. Fine, that addresses the fact that malacha was done, it was only b'shoigig, we don't penalize. But what about the muktzah fact? You just introduced a whole new element to muktzah. It was live animal coming into Shabbos. It was not ready for this purpose. It was not meant for consumption. From Masnisin the Sheikhatu, our Mishnah is talking about a fellow who did shechita. Rav told us that Darash Chiya Rav Mishmei the Rav, he quoted Rav, Asur b'achilu yom, you can't eat it on the day of Shabbos. V'nosam charay l'meim, and the people in the yeshiva explained, Rabbi Yehuda, he was calling Rabbi Yehuda, explained before, because there's a knas, there's a penalty, but Ha Rabbi Meir, Shar, Shar, it's okay. Apparently there's no muktzah issues. Why not? Answers the Gemara, you know why? There's no muktzah issues? Listen to this. We're talking about a very unique circumstance. There is another factor at play which eliminates the muktzah issue, which is typically there, but here it's not. Kishar Rabbi Meir, you're right, Rabbi Meir allows it in this case. Let's turn the page. Kigan was speaking, for instance, there was a seriously ill person on the premises, still from before Shabbos, who may need fresh meat on Shabbos to sustain himself, to keep him alive. In which case, it's pikuach nefesh, and Rashi says, right, because the choyle pikuach nefesh is derech HaShabbos, so the animal was technically available, designated for this purpose, even though it's a live animal coming into Shabbos. But there is potential that you'll have to do shechita on this animal on Shabbos. So that cancels the muktzah element. It's imedas l'shechita, it's ready for shechita, coming into Shabbos. So there's no muktzah issue. Ask the Gemara, hold it. So there was a chayla, still from before Shabbos. So you knew, right, it was anticipated that there'll be a shechita. There's a chance of shechita. And he did the shechita on Shabbos for that purpose. So what's the issue? There's no muktzah issue. And there was no malacha either. It's pekuach nefesh, it's mutter, it's a mitzvah to save a person's life. So why would it be to say it's asr? Why can't you eat the meat? Oh, what happened was the chayla had a for shalem, Baruch Hashem, on Shabbos he got all better. There's no reason to shech the animal for him, and he did it anyways. So in this case, it's a reverse situation. The muktzah element is gone, because coming into Shabbos, at the onset of Shabbos, which is the determinant factor, that's what establishes the status of muktzah or non-muktzah. At that point, it was not muktzah because the person was seriously ill. And it was anticipated they'll have to have a shechita for him on Shabbos. But turns out later he didn't need it, he got well. So muktzah is out of the way. Once muktzah is out of the way at the onset of Shabbos, they can't come back, right? So that's been addressed now. So what is the only issue? The only remaining issue that there was a malacha done on Shabbos. It was unjustified. They did shechita on Shabbos for no good reason. So that's Rabbi Yehuda's Isser. He says, this is a knas, we can't eat it on Shabbos. As we learned the name of Rav, some say a different, it was quoted by somebody else, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak bar Ada Amar Rav. In any case, it's all quoting Rav. So here we have a fellow who got sick on Shabbos. Okay, so again, we're going to run back to the muktzah issue. So basically, what we're saying is that Rav's issue, the reason why he silenced the Tana was because of the Muktzah issue, as we find in the next halacha of Rav. A fellow got sick on Shabbos and requires fresh meat. So we did the shechita for him, it's okay. Asur labari. So this meat is now asur, off limits for a healthy person. Because although there was no malacha, there was no isser of malacha because it was pekuach nefesh, which overrides Shabbos, but muktzah is still present. Since coming into Shabbos, this was not expected. The chayla was not. There was no chayla around, so the animal became muktzah, and now even after shechita on Shabbos, it retains that muktzah status. So a healthy person, ordinary person, can eat it. Hamavash al chayla b'Shabbos. Suppose a person takes meat that was, shechted before Shabbos. You have meat coming into Shabbos. There's no muktzah issue there. Because as we said before, technically you can eat raw meat as well, so it's considered edible and suitable. And now a fellow has to cook the meat on Shabbos for an ill person. So again, there's no malacha done. So here we have no muktzah issue and no malacha issue. That can be fed. So leftover meat can feed it to a healthy person as well. My time. What's the difference between the cooked meat and the shechted animal? My time, a high roi lochus, because the meat that was in a meat status coming into Shabbos, it was edible meat. Even though it was raw, it could be chewed raw. But the animal that was shechted on Shabbos was not available for consumption. You couldn't eat it raw. So there's a muktzah issue. Amra papa pa'amim. Sometimes you can switch it around, the reverse. Shashoichet mutter. Sometimes you shecht, it's okay for anybody, and mevashel is asur. How's that? Like we said before, there was a sick person from before Shabbos, and he's still very ill, which necessitates shechita for him. So this shechted animal is not an issue for anybody. The shechita was mutter, was a mitzvah, pekuach nefesh, and there's no muktzah because it was expected. Whereas mevashel asur, you can have a case of cooking on Shabbos, which is asur for a bari to eat because of the muktzah issue. Cuts like the las. So you cooked a pumpkin, which was cut just like that. You chopped it off for the sake of the ill person on Shabbos. So it was attached to the ground coming into Shabbos. It was muktzah. So again, although here we don't have a cooking malacha issue because it was done for pekuach nefesh, but a regular person can't eat it because of muktzah. Because coming into Shabbos, it was not suitable. Amar Avdimi Manardo. What's the conclusion? Hilchas. Ha'sheichet is a new twist on the whole story. Ha'sheichet lo chayla b'Shabbos mutar l'bari. Okay, so if you have a person who was chayla from before Shabbos, now it's Shabbos, you have to shecht for him. Mutar l'bari. You can feed some of the meat to a bari, to a healthy person, provided he eats it raw. There's no issue. My time of why. So firstly, muktzah is a non-issue because since this person fell ill before Shabbos, it was expected that we'll have to do this for him. So the animal was sort of reserved for this purpose. Number two, malacha on Shabbos, well, it's pekuach nefesh, it's perfectly permissible. What about a concern of perhaps, that he might actually increase malacha for the sake of the healthy person? Well, it's not an issue in this case. It's just an act of shechita. And the same act of shechita is needed for the ill person as for the healthy person. Meaning, once he shechts the animal for the chayla, there's nothing being added. There's no added, malacha dimension for the healthy person. My time, even the efshal kazayis basar, you can't have even a kazayis of meat below shechita without shechting the entire animal. So it's one act of shechita. In any case, right? Kiko shachet. So when he does the shechita on the entire animal, even though there's a lot more than one kazayis, but it's needed, it's necessary, even to give him a kazayis. Hadata the chilek hashachet. the mindset, the plan, the purpose is for the ill person. Meaning, in order to feed the ill person, you have to shecht the entire animal. Once it's shechted, be my guest, give the healthy person as well. But however, if one needs to cook for a chayla on Shabbos. So again, although there's no muktzah, there's no issue of malacha on Shabbos, but there's a new concern on top of this all. Asr labara, you may not feed any leftovers to a healthy person. Why? Gezerah, the Chachamim were concerned that he might be tempted to add a little more to begin with. Well, let's just add a little more just in case the chayla needs, but really, it's for the healthy person. Really, that was the underlying, motive. Also, labara gezerah, there's a concern. Shema yarba b'shvil, he might add material in the pot. He might increase the volume to feed the healthy person. And that's perfectly asur. Right? So a shchita is a shchita, whether it's for one person or for 10. But cooking, if you're going to add, that's an isra, it's a malacha. Okay, so bottom line is like this. In speaking about material prepared for a chayla, you have to evaluate 3 separate issues. You have to consider muktzah, and that would be eliminated if the chayla was sick from before Shabbos, so you knew this was meant for him. You have the issue of malacha, which again is not an issue if it's for the sake of the chayla, and you have the third issue, gzeira shem yarba b'shvila, that applies to cooking only, says the Mishnah. Okay, what type of tools, what type of utensil is one meant to use for shchita? Right? We know about a knife. What about a sickle? What about a saw? What about any other sharp instrument? Whether it's connected to the ground or disconnect, hasheichet b'magal yad. If one uses a magal yad, a hand sickle, Rashi describes it as having two sides to it. So one side is like a semicircle, right? One side, let's say the outer side of the circle, is as smooth as a knife, no issue there. But then the inner side is bumpy, with all the the teeth, which cannot be used for shechita because it drags, it pulls, right? It doesn't slice cleanly. That would render the animal a treifa. That's possible. Hashechet magal yad. If one uses a magal yad on the smooth side, Bitsur uses a stone, a sharp stone. Ubekana, sharp reed. Shechita ksher. In all these cases, it's okay. And the Mishnah continues with a very generalization of a klal. Hakol shechten, all can do shechita, lo elam shechten, and always. Then we'll explain exactly what this generalization is referring to. Hakol shechten, you can use anything for shechita. So actually, hakol refers even to a mumar, a renegade Jew. Lo elam means even at night, etc. Bakol means any type of instrument. Chutz magal kotzer, except for a magal kotzer, which is again a certain type of sickle which has pegimois. Rashi says it has these teeth, which are actually all sort of leaning in one direction. The teeth are actually slanted in one direction. You can't use it. If I'm a gera is like a saw, right, with teeth. Ashinayim, teeth, real teeth. Rashi says the teeth here are still connected to the animal's cheek. You're going to take the animal's cheek and use it as a knife. That's a pirate. Also, you may not use a nail. A nail that's connected. A fingernail, right? Why? What's wrong with all these items? They choke, they pull on these simanim because of the imperfections, because of the bumps. Instead of doing a clean slice, they pull, they drag, they injure it. And that's not really a proper shechit. Okay, so we have two parts to the Mishnah. Magal yad, sur kana is okay. Magal chatzer, megera, shinaim, tzipur is no good. Now the Mishnah began that magal chatzer, tzur and kana, one uses them, it's okay. Shechitasak shir. Now, whenever we have that type of language, it sounds like it's b'di'evet. If it's done after the fact, it works. Apparently, it's not something we recommend. Why? What's wrong? Hashayichet. Hashayichet, right? Sounds like, okay, if it was done, hashayichet means di'evet in, it works. But initially, you should not use these tools. What's wrong? So let's go through them one by one. We have the magal yad, that's the sickle with the two sides. One is sharp, one is bumpy. We have the rock, we have the kana. So I understand the first one might be a problem. Bishlam magal yad. I understand why you shouldn't use the magal yad, because although he is specifically going to use the sharp side, the smooth side, but dilma asil me'abed b'dachisa, he might mistakenly use the other side, which is possible. So don't get involved. What's wrong with a tzur and a kana? Ramini, we have a brisa, that's perfectly fine. One can use any utensil for shchita. Bein betzur, bein beschuchis, bein krumishal kana, a rock, piece of glass, krumishal kana, piece of a reed. Even l'chatchila, it's okay. Why we? The answer is like this: is it off the ground or still connected? Leikash kan. The brisa which allows l'chatchila betalish. These things are off the ground. It's just a loose rock, piece of a kana. That's okay, l'chatchila, as long as it's sharp and kan b'mechuber, the Mishnah, which doesn't allow us speaking that it's still growing on the ground, still connected in the ground, which makes it difficult to do a proper swing, a proper, cutting motion. The Amar of Kahana, hashayichet b'mechuber l'karka. In fact, you have a big machlekes. Some say it's even puzzle. If one uses something which is mechuber l'karka, Rebbe paisel. Rebbe says it's puzzle. Rashi brings the pasuk, vayikach as a machelas. From Avram Avinu, he took a machelas. I took a knife. It sounds like it's, right? We learn from there it has to be an item that you pick up, that you take, not connected to the ground. So it's critical. It's essential to the process. It has to be detached. That's Rebbe's shita. Rebbe Chia disagrees. He says you can use it, but you know what? It's not preferred. And our Mishnah, which shies away from attached items, is Rebbe Chia speaking. It works, but di'evet, but not l'chatchila. Right? Ad kan like kamachsher. Rebbe Chia el b'di'evet. It's true. Rebbe Chia allows it, but only once it's done, it's done. Aval l'chatchila, but initially you should not use it. Okay, says the Gemara, "B'mayu kimto Rebbe Chia." So you've now lined up the Mishnah with Rebbe Chia, and it's only good b'di'evet. After it's done, it's okay. What about a brisa which says, "Bakal shoychten bein be tolosh." You can use anything. Talosh, mechuber, detached, attached. And positioning isn't either an issue, whether the knife is on top of the animal or vice versa, like we do today, right? The knife is on top, coming down on the neck. Or perhaps the other way around. The knife is on bottom, facing upward, of course, and the neck is on top. Even though it's a bit cumbersome, it works. Okay, so this brisa, whose shita is reflected in this brisa? Whose shita is being promoted in this brisa? Mani. Loi Rebbe vel Rebbe Chia. Not Rebbe or Rebbe Chia. Why? It cannot work like any of them. Rebbe Chia de evedin chatchil loi. Kut Rebbe Chia, it's only allowed b'di'evet. And here the brisa allows using something attached. Even chatchila. Rebbe, di'evet nami loi. Kut Rebbe, it's even worse. But di'evet it doesn't work. Loi Rebbe Chia. No, the brisa is going like Rebbe Chia. And the brisa really allows using attached items, even l'chatchila. We'll see in a minute how that jives with our Mishnah, where we said that even according to Rebbe Chia, it's only b'di'evet. Let's see, we'll get that in a minute. The reason why the brisa cited b'di'evet was to highlight Rebbe's opinion, that even b'di'evet is possible. If you use something mechuber, according to Rebbe, even b'di'evet it's possible. Doesn't conform to the requirements. According to Rebbe Chia, mechuber is okay. According to our Mishnah, just b'di'evet. According to the brisa, even chatchila. Now comes the next collision. But our Mishnah, which was established to be like Rebbe Chia, says that only sheikhet, I mean he does it, but b'di'evet it works. Chatchila not. In the brisa here seems to say, according to Rebbe Chia, even chatchila it's okay to use something attached. Mani loy Rebbe Rebbe Chia. So the Mishnah which says b'di'evet again, it's not going like Rebbe who says it's possible. According to Rebbe Chia, it's chatchila. So the Mishnah which says only b'di'evet, who's it going like? Loy Rebbe Chia. Oh, Rabbi Chia, you just told me it's okay to use mechuber. Rabbi, even the David doesn't want. Says the Gemara, sure it's going like Rabbi Chia. I feel lechatchila. This price which says that even lechatchila is okay, that's going like Rabbi Chia. What about our Mishnah? Rabbi. Our Mishnah which says that it's only good with the Yevet, that's in fact Rebbe's shita. So we're turning around the whole arrangement. It's the opposite. According to Rabbi Chia, it's mutiv l'chatchila. According to Rebbe, sometimes mechubar is possible with the Yevet, sometimes it's kosher with the Yevet. So as the Gemara hold it, we have to reconcile this apparent contradiction in Rebbe. Then you tell me, according to Rebbe, whose opinion is reflected in our Mishnah, if you use mechubar, it works with the Yevet. And the Brisa seems to say even with the Yevet is possible. Kasha the Rebbe had the Rebbe. In fact, he says possible clearly. That's a contradiction within Rebbe. Like Kasha, it depends on the circumstance. There are two types of things that are connected: naturally connected or artificially connected. And the Brisa, where Rebbe says it's possible, it's talking about it was connected naturally. It's a reed growing out of the ground. So that doesn't conform, that doesn't fit the requirements. It has to be something detached, a utensil. In the Mishnah where it says you can use it b'diavad, that's talking about something which isn't naturally connected. It was tolush, he had already taken it off the ground, he pulled the rock off the ground, then he put it back in. So here, technically it's okay, but the Chatchila shouldn't use it. Some explain because he might end up using something which is mechubar, naturally mechubar. One thing might lead to the next. Yeah, the Ran says that. Says the Gemara. Okay, so let's just make heads and tails here. What's going on? According to Rabbi Chia, there's no requirement for something to be talush. Even mechubar is good. Lechatchila. According to Rabbi, it depends. The two categories: mechubar naturally is possible with the Yevet. Mechubar artificially, you should shy away from that. But if it was used, it's okay. Now you're coming up with an interesting distinction between something which is, look, they're both mechubar. Well, big difference. This is naturally connected. This was connected later. What's the difference? The fact is they're both connected. There's a big difference. Sanya. In fact, I'll find you a brisa which supports this differentiation. So you have this wheel which has a knife connected to it, and he spins this wheel and does shchita in that manner, using the wheel with the knife on it. Right? So he puts the animal next to the wheel, spins it, and the knife cuts through the simon. Shchita ksheira, it's okay. However, the mechubar l'karka, shchita psula. Shchita ksheira. One second. And if it's something which is mechubar l'karka, it's also kosher. No, it's not ksheira. For instance, he takes a knife, inserts it into the ground, and does shchita with it, it works. Let's say something which is naturally connected, naturally part of the ground. A boulder, a sharp stone, sticking out of the wall. Or a reed, which is naturally growing out of the ground. And use that for shachad boy, psula. It doesn't work. So the question is, how do we understand this brisa? Here, we say, mechubar l'karka is okay. No, tzakan b'koisel is okay. And then we say, no, a rock out of the ground, a reed growing out of the ground is possible. Kashna adadi. It seems to be an inherent contradiction within the brisa itself. Here we say mechubar l'karka is okay, here we say it's not. Oh, one is natural, one is artificial. Allah shma minot. Apparently, we see this distinction that shani mechubar miikarai, shani mechubar liikarai, l'talash l'b'sav chibur. The big difference between using for shchita something which is connected miikarai naturally, like a reed growing out of the ground, like a rock out of the mountain, right? Which is possible even b'diavad, as opposed to l'tolosh, something which had been disconnected, and then we reinserted it. That should not be used, because one thing might lead to the next, but b'diavad it works for me, no. So this proves our point. Okay, so in summation, according to, so using something which is mechuber l'karka, according to Reb Chia, it's okay l'chatchila, according to Rebbe. Naturally, mechuber is possible even b'diavad, based on the pasuk v'ikachas ma'achelas, but if it was only attached later, it's kosher b'diavad. All the best to you, and hatzlacha, Rabbi.